Welcome back to the second video on Microsoft Excel shortcut keys. So if you have not watched the video number 1, I will share the video number 1 on the comment box. You can just go back and view the video and come back to this video. In first video we have talked about what is the usage of the shortcut keys, what is the purpose and advantage of the shortcut keys. Today we are going to see about the shortcut keys on Workbook, Microsoft Excel Workbook. For example, let me open an Excel workbook. This is the Excel workbook. So already I have opened the Excel workbook. If you want to start a new workbook, if you want to open a new file, of course most of the people, you can go to file and you can see there is an option called as new. So you can go to file and click on the new. If you go to the file, you can click on new, which will open a new, and you have to click on the new blank workbook. Instead, you can use the shortcut key Ctrl N. Ctrl N is the shortcut key. Ctrl plus N is the shortcut key for opening a new file. Let me do that. Ctrl N. A new file is opened. Right? New file is created. So if you want to open an existing file, I already have a file. I want to open that existing file. So once again, if you are using the mouse, you can go to file. Under file, you can see this open is available. If you go to file, under the file, you can see this open is available. If you click on open, it will show you what are all the list of files you can open. The recently opened file will be available here. You can open the recently used file. This is one way. Or as usual, we want to use the shortcut key. Ctrl O. It's very easy to remember. Remember the first letter. If you want to create a new file, the first letter is Ctrl N. If you want to open the existing file, Ctrl O. So Ctrl O, once again, it comes to the open dialog box. Right? So this is Ctrl O, the file. And of course, I think most of you would have already used it to save a file. If you want to save a file, so either you can go to that save button available on your quad, and the quad you can see the save button is available. You can click on the save button, else you can go to file and you can click on save. Or else, as usual, use the simple shortcut key Ctrl S, which will ask you to save a file. So you can give a name for the file and you can save. Wherever you want it, you can save that particular file. Okay. This is saving a file. But I want to save the same file. Maybe I want to take a copy of the file, or I want to save the same file in some other name or in some other location. Right? Then we will go for an option called as file. Under file, you can use the save as. There is an option called as save as. Correct that. Instead, you can use one more shortcut key, that is F12. F12 is the shortcut key for save as. F12, in some keyboards, you have to use the function key along with it. F12, or in some keyboards, you have to press function F12 also. Function F12. Right? Function key and F12 has to be pressed together in some keyboards. So let me do that. When I press F12, it goes to the save as button, where you can see the same file can be renamed in some other name, or you can store it in some other location also. Right? And we have two documents available. Two files has been opened. Suppose I want to navigate between one file to another. So we are in one file. I want to move to the next file, another file, without using mouse. Yes, of course, most of the people will say the shortcut key is Alt Tab. Right? Alt Tab will be the shortcut. But I don't recommend to use the Alt Tab. I recommend to use Control Tab. Alt Tab, what it will do is, when I press Alt Tab, you can see all the software available. It will move to each and every software. What are all the software available, it will move to every software. But I want to move from one file to another file. So then you can use Control Tab. Control Tab is the shortcut key to move to the next file. Suppose I have 3 or 4 files available. If you want to go to the next file, you can use Control Tab. If you want to move to the previous file, earlier file, then you can use Control Shift Tab. Control Tab will move to the next workbook. Control Shift Tab will move to the previous one. Right? And then this document is available. I want to restore this document, not minimizing. Minimize means it will reduce and it will go to your status bar. Not even maximizing. I want to restore it. So you can use a shortcut key Ctrl F5. Ctrl F5. So you can see it's like a restore. It's not at minimize, it's not maximize, it's in between that restore. Ctrl F5. And if you want to move this workbook, suppose I want to move the workbook on the right hand side or left hand side, then you can use another shortcut key, Ctrl F7. Remember, in some keyboards you have to press Ctrl Function F7. Similarly, earlier on restoring also, some keyboards you have to press Ctrl F5, some keyboards you have to press Ctrl Function F5. Right? Now let me press Ctrl F7. When you press Ctrl F7, you can see on top of my screen an arrow mark is appearing. You can see an arrow mark. 4-sided arrow marks are appearing. And you can see on the bottom of your status bar, you can see it's giving a message here. You can see on the bottom, use the arrow to move. Use the arrow key to move. That means you have to use the arrow key to move it. Right. So let me press Ctrl F7 and says use the arrow key to move. So let me use the arrow key. Suppose I am using the right arrow. So you can see up arrow it's moving on the upwards, right arrow it's moving on right wise, down arrow it's moving on downwards, upright. So wherever you want you can move it. And then press enter. Suppose this I was satisfied in this position. I want to stop here. I want to stop my screen here itself. So you can press enter. Enter. Enter for accepting it. So Ctrl F7 is used for moving. Then you have to use the arrow marks, left arrow and right arrow to move it on the left hand side and right hand side. Right? So this is moving. Suppose you don't want to move, you want to resize, increase or decrease the percentage of your view. Then you can use Ctrl F8. When I press Ctrl F8, once again on the status bar, you can see it shows a message, use arrow keys to size. Correct? Use arrow keys to size. It's giving a message when I press Ctrl F8. Right? So Ctrl F8, it shows the arrow keys. So let me use the right arrow. You can see it increases the size of it. Down arrow and downwards the size is increasing. Similarly, if you want to decrease, up arrow, left arrow to decrease, right arrow to increase also. And accept, enter. Enter to accept. Okay. So we have seen how to restore it, how to move the file, how to resize the file, and next we'll see how to minimize it. Suppose I want to minimize or I want to maximize. So if you want to maximize, I want to bring this file on my full screen. So Ctrl F10. Ctrl F10, it will maximize it. If you want to maximize a file, you can use Ctrl F10. Remember, in some keyboards, you have to press Fn, function key also along with that F10. Okay. And if you want to minimize this file, I want to minimize the file, I want to bring it on my taskbar, Ctrl F9. When I press Ctrl F9, that will be minimized. Okay. So we have seen various options. We can restore our file, we can maximize our file, we can minimize our file, we can resize the file, we can move the files. Right? All these options, there is a control menu also available. You can see control menu. If you are using the older version, for control menu there will be a button available here. But since we are using the latest version, most of you are using the latest version, you can use one more key, Alt space bar. When you press Alt space bar, holding the Alt key and pressing the space bar, you can see the control menu is appearing, where we can see all the options are available here. Restoring, moving, sizing, minimize, maximize. So even you can use this. For example, I want to restore. So you can click on that restore. Either you can click on the restore or see what is the letter underlined for that restore. What is the letter underlined here? So the letter underlined for restore is you can press R, where it comes to the restoring mode. So Alt space bar, you can see that control menu will appear. Using the control menu, you can move, size, minimize and maximize as usual. You can use the shortcut key which I told earlier, or else even you can use this Alt space bar. A menu will appear. Under the menu, whatever the options you want, you can select that option. Suppose I want to maximize it. I click on maximize. It is maximized. Suppose I want to close the file. I want to close the file. Most of the people will say, if you want to close the file, you can see there is a into mark available on the right hand side corner. If I click this, the file will be closed. Unfortunately, if I click this, the file will not be closed. The entire Excel application will be closed. So if you want to close that current workbook, then you can use the shortcut key Ctrl F4. Either you can use Ctrl F4 or you can use Ctrl W. Ctrl F4 or Ctrl W, which will close the current file. For example, I want to close this file, not the entire Excel application. Ctrl F4 or Ctrl W, the file is closed, not the entire Excel. You can see that file is closed. Right? But I want to close the entire Excel application. If you want to close the entire application, then either using the mouse you can go here and close it, or you can use the shortcut key Alt F4. Alt F4 is the shortcut key for closing the entire Excel. Okay, so I believe today we have learned about 14 shortcut keys for all the various shortcut keys in Excel workbook. So you can watch the video, and I will share you all the list of shortcut keys on the chat box. On the chat box, all the list of shortcut keys, you can download all the list of shortcut keys. Next session, we are going to see what are all the shortcut keys available in Excel worksheet. Now we have seen about the shortcut keys of Excel workbook and what are all the shortcut keys in our Excel worksheet. That's going to our next one. Thank you. We'll meet on the next session.